everybody, Tekking101 here. Now, before we get into the actual video, I have a very important question I want to ask you guys. I've been working on my ninja skills a bit last few weeks. I don't mean to brag or anything, but I just want to show my stuff. So let me know if you can follow my speed of sound movements. Oh, ha, so, la, he, do. Yeah. I know, right? That took me like 3 weeks, like a ninja, like, beginner course. I know, right? Okay, so, hey everybody, Tekking here, and today we're gonna be talking about S-Rank 13, Flashy Flash. Although, I have to say, I am more of a fan of the original translation of his name, which was Lightspeed Flash. I mean, whenever you include the word Lightspeed in your name, immediately that's cool. But I like Flashy Flash too. It kind of goes with the whole idea of the redundant names that all the ninja, characters have in One Punch Man. Speed of Sound, Sonic, the Flame of the Hellfire, the Gale of the Wind, and the Lightspeed Flash, or the Flashy Flash. Although, I guess his name also has another meaning beyond just the fact that he's really fast. It also has the idea that he's very flashy, dresses very, I don't want to say, I was gonna say he dresses rather flamboyantly, but I don't know. His outfit is pretty streamlined, really. He has like some armor underneath it, then he has a cloak, which, okay, it's anime, everybody. If I say everybody that wears a cloak in anime is dressing effeminately, I mean, come on now. Probably the thing that strikes it the most is he has these, like, these bobby pin things he puts in his hair and all over his outfit as well. In fact, I think Metal Bat, when they were at the S-Class meeting, he was like calling him like, "Hey, Bobby Pin, shut up," or whatever. So, yeah. He has a very cool, very collected demeanor, but this is actually more of an act that I think works against him rather than something that's like a character trait that's like, "Oh, he's so cool, he's so badass, he don't care about anything." Because there's a lot of times in the story, whenever he acts like this, it's really more of just him putting on a facade to seem cool on the surface, when in reality, his actions don't really play out the way that he figured. I'll give you an example. Like, the only time in the story so far, at least in the Murata version of the manga, where we've seen him fight like an enemy, like straight on, like we got to see the whole battle, was against the 100 Eyes Octopus, which, this might surprise you, minor spoiler, is actually an octopus that has 103 eyes. And the way how that fight went was you have this giant octopus that's the size of buildings, it's getting bigger the more buildings it consumes. It's wrecking the entire city. All these A-class heroes, they team, like Death Gatling's there, and Smile Man, everybody's there getting ready to fight the damn thing, and they're like, okay, we need to figure out some way to fight this thing, so we gotta, like, break up into teams and all cluster our attacks on its eyeballs, whatever. And then Flashy Flash shows up. He shows up, cloak is flowing in the wind, takes out his sword, and he's just like, "You fools, you obviously the eyes are the weak point of any creature. You didn't need any sort of fancy analysis for that." Okay, so that's setting up the idea, like, oh, this is a cool ninja. And so, he just takes out his sword, and everyone's like, well, okay, how about we all fight as a team? And then he just, like, breaks the freaking sound barrier about 5 times over and speeds toward the damn octopus. And the next few scenes, I mean, this takes up a bulk of the chapter, but I'm assuming these next few scenes take place in, like, the span of, like, half of a second. He had a big breakfast, so half of a second, it's kind of a sluggish day for him. But he speeds toward this freaking octopus, and it's every bit as awesome as you would imagine. He's doing flips in the air, taking out his sword, he's stabbing each one of these eyes, like, one after another, just popping these things off, and then finally just slamming his sword into the eyeballs of this thing, and then finally just dives up into the air, one eyeball left, and he just straight down stabs this thing, and then, before just jumping off of its body, then speeding back to the heroes, and, like, sheathing his sword all really cool and everything like that, and you think, oh, okay, battle's over, man, that guy was awesome. The problem is, when you have a giant octopus that's covered in very sensitive eyes, and all the eyes are popped at once, tends to make the thing, I would assume, a little bit pissed off, or a little bit more erratic, or at least begin to writhe around in pain. And considering this thing is, as I aforementionedly stated, the size of a skyscraper, when it starts to writhe around in pain, that causes more damage to the city that you're trying to protect. And so there's this moment where all the A-class heroes, I think Flashy Flash was expecting to do all his ninja shit and then sheath his sword and be like, and he wouldn't have said anything, but he would have been expecting everybody to be praising him, like, oh my god, you're so fast. But in reality, all the like Death Gatling was looking at him like, I think you made it worse. And he's just sitting there like, I love this expression on his face. That expression, he knows what he did. He understands completely what he did. It was a complete botch on his part. It's just that he can't bring himself to admit it. He walked in and he didn't have any more an idea how to deal with the thing than the other ones did. They're all trying to come up with teamwork, and he's like, don't need any teamwork. I'm Flashy Flash. Do you know how fast I can freaking run? 'Cause I can run pretty fast, and I got a sword. I'm badass. I'm super cool. I could take this thing out. All I gotta do is stab all of its eyes, not thinking about the situation in the slightest, and then it does it, comes back, and it's like, oh, I just made this a lot worse. But I can't show that I made it a lot worse, so I'm just gonna be like, alright, special move! And they don't get to see it, unfortunately. I'm sure it would have been something really cool. Like, he creates, like, a shit ton of clones of himself in the sky, and they all proceeded to hack this octopus up, like, all the legs at once, and then, you know, like, get diced, like how Atomic Samurai diced up, Haragiri, that other samurai, like, just, like, sliced down to that level. We're gonna get back to Atomic Samurai here in a little bit, actually, because it's, you know, mentions that. But yeah. So, that's kind of his personality, kind of being, like, sort of like a teenager in that respect. Like, a teenager, like, I'm gonna try to act cool. You know, I'm gonna go to school with my hair all, you know, slicked down, grow my hair out long, and I'm gonna get a shirt that's more like a jacket that has really long sleeves and a super high collar, and I'm gonna be super cool in the school. Okay, hey, moving on, we're not talking about me today. Alright, look, so, yeah, alright, so he first shows up in the S-Class meeting, he has this kind of attitude with everybody, doesn't seem to care. As soon as the aliens attack, as soon as Boros attacks, he's one of the heroes that just kind of, you know, leaves. And you're sitting there wondering, like, there's a massive alien attack that wiped out an entire city! Like, you don't think all the S-Class heroes should probably team and pool their sources, their you know, power for this? But no, it's like Pig God leaves, Flashy Flash leaves, let's see, who else? Tank Talk Master stays around, Drive Knight eventually leaves, Zombie Man leaves, so it's like, what are they doing? And though, later on, though, it's actually mentioned in the OVA, the murder case that was, like, super difficult to solve or whatever, where you see all the S-Class heroes hanging out at that hot spring, they were actually mentioned, like, well, while the aliens were attacking City A, there were other monsters in other cities that were kind of taking advantage of that upheaval, and they were doing their own thing in other cities, and that's what the other heroes went to. So that, actually, I like that, because that spoke, like, Flashy Flash was, like, smart enough in that moment to be like, alright, we have all these other S-Class heroes like Bang and Genos and Piri Piri Prisoner and Metal Bat, you know, Tatsumaki. And Tatsumaki alone is like a massive force in the freaking Hero Association. So he probably looked at that and was like, alright, we have all these S-Class heroes here. I'm the fastest, so I'm gonna speed to other cities, and while the other monsters are taking advantage of the chaos here, I'm gonna make sure that those are taken care of. And so that's what he did. So, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that explanation. Okay, you were good there. And we see him every now and then. I think he appeared in the Tatsumaki one-shot, like, side chapter where Tatsumaki had her day off, and you see him there take out, like, a giant pig, you know, monster or whatever, so that's not a big deal. The biggest comparison to have with him is the comparison to Speed of Sound Sonic and the other ninjas. See, it's implied, we don't really know exactly how this works yet, but it's implied that there's a straight-up, like, secret ninja village in the One Punch Man universe, universe, which of course there is. Why wouldn't there be a secret ninja village in One Punch Man? But anyway, yeah, there's a secret village, and there's like an academy of ninjutsu and all that crap, and that's where Sonic learned how his, all his, techniques and everything. And the thing that really queued a lot of people up is that Sonic has a technique called Windblade Kick, and this is also used, a technique, I don't think it's used by Flashy Flash in the Murota version yet, but in the webcomic it is used by him, and so that kind of queued a lot of people up, like, wait a second, there's the same technique, and they obviously have the same redundant names, and they obviously are both, like, ninjas, and they're super fast, so there's some connection here. It's made a little bit more clearer in the Murota comic whenever the two other members of this ninja village show up, the Flame of the Hellfire and the Gale of the Wind, and so they state how it works is, like, each graduating class of this academy is given, like, a title, like, their entire class is given a title, and so these two guys, Hellflame and Gale, they're from the title class Golden, and Sonic is from the class the End, or the Final class, meaning that Sonic, I don't know what happened there. Maybe Sonic, after he graduated, he, pulled a Zabuza and then slaughtered all of his fellow, his colleagues, and then moved on, and then there was no one left in the academy to teach. And since Gale and Hellflame are both from the Golden class, you can assume that they're pretty strong as well, if not the strongest. We don't know what class Flashy Flash was from, but we know these two ninjas want to take him out. That's why they joined up with the Monsters Association to target Flashy Flash specifically. Now, here's where something gets interesting. In the webcomic, when the invasion of the Monster Association occurs, Flashy Flash is present there, and he fights against these two robots, and the two robots are named in a very similar way to these two ninjas, and they talk about how fast they are, like they're robots, like, we are robots, we are faster than human, why am I not having an arm anymore, and they just fall apart because Flashy Flash just moves, he's redonkulously fast, like, just fast as the speed of sound, or Mach 2, Mach 3, that doesn't do it justice, okay? To properly explain how fast he is, the best we got is this scene from the webcomic when he was attacking Monsterfied Garo, and he goes to attack him with a punch to the face, and we see these little, like a little stopwatch in the corner, and the time doesn't change. I think it's implied this is 1 millisecond. So he goes from standing like several yards away from Garo to hitting him in the face, all in the span of just a singular millisecond. Like, you actually have to break down millisecond to the units of time that are smaller than milliseconds. Which I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, it goes seconds, then it goes decaseconds, then centiseconds, then milliseconds, and then, like, eventually breaks down to, like, a redonkulously, like, picoseconds, I think is the lowest, the smallest form of measure it possibly goes. But it's like a ridiculously fast dude. Alright, so, like, is it light speed? I don't know, probably not, but maybe. Like, it's the idea of this series is having characters that can do ridiculous things. Like, you have Boros, like collapsing star roaring cannon, it can blow up the entire planet, and I'm kicking you to the moon. And then you have, of course, Saitama that breaks everything, but then you have characters like Flashy Flash that can move at, like, a redonkulous speed and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, during the Monster Association invasion, Flashy Flash takes out these two robots, no problem. These two robots are these ninjas in the Murota version. That's how it's going. Well, it's one that's, like, deciding to make that change, but that's how we're going with it. So, considering that Flashy Flash fought against these two robots, he's, of course, going to fight against these two ninjas. I hope the fight is a little bit more elaborate than it was, in the webcomic, because it was literally just like, we are two throwaway characters, you cannot win, oh, well, you won, and then they collapse, and then he just, like, alright, moving on. I hope it's a little bit something more elaborate here, even if it's like a single chapter, a little bit more than just a single change. Maybe like one of them, maybe the two of them can rock out from the shadows and go into their monster forms, and we know the Gale of the Wind can transform into like a cheetah or like a leopard, probably a cheetah because of speed, fastest land animal. We don't know what the Hellflame dude can turn into, but they rock out from the shadows and they begin to transform. It's like, you will not you cannot win this fight, we are faster than you now because we are monsters. And
then he just, like, does the thing and, like, slices one of their heads off, and then he has kind of like a semi-fight with the other one that really displays just truly how, like, ungodly fast he is. Something along that line. So yeah, he's definitely from the Ninja Village. Does that mean that I would hope eventually he would have some connection to Sonic. Sonic doesn't seem to know about him, or if he does know about him, he doesn't seem to care. Sonic has, like, that raging hate boner for Saitama, so, you know, it's... By the way, when I said raging hate boner, I'm not just talking, like, metaphorically, like, oh, he really hates him. No, I mean, like, he might actually kind of... You can feel something there, you know, like, yeah, no, a little bit of... Maybe it might just be my, my yaoi talking, but, yeah... Chip a freaking tooth on my sword. But yeah, okay. So that was the situation there. Another thing to really talk about with him is his rank, okay? So he is, bar none, not including Saitama, of course, because Saitama was able to block his sword during the invasion. He thought he was a monster, and so there's this funny scene where he takes out his sword and he goes to attack Saitama, and Saitama, of course, just grabs it like that, like the 0.1 millisecond ding. Just grabs it, and he pulls it back, and he's like, did he just do that? And he's like, well, and then he remembers who Saitama was. He's like, oh, yeah, he's that B-class hero from the meeting. So he's a hero. He's not a monster, but should I attack him again? And he does, and he still blocks it again. And so that's a funny scene with later on, he's just like trapped in the rubble, and he's like, that's Saitama, you know, if he's so strong, if I trained him, he could become truly great. Like, still not comprehending the idea that he was, like, his speed of light slash was, like, stopped, and that Saitama is clearly much more superior than him. He's like, I'll become his master, and then, you know, no, he's stronger than you, man, just come to grips with it, but he can't. Man, there's a lot of funny scenes with him and Saitama now that I remember that. There's this scene where he's trapped in the rubble, and his arm is caught in it, and Saitama is, like, trying to move the pieces of rubble out of the way very carefully, because, you know, he's like, don't crush my arm, and then they still can't get his arm out, and Saitama's just like, wait a second, are you holding on to your sword? And he's just like, maybe. He's like, just let go of your sword. I'm like, yeah, and then eventually I think Saitama breaks his sword, and it's just like, oh... It's some good humor with him. And probably the funniest scene, though, that I liked was when, after the whole octopus incident, you had Tatsumaki show up, and she was the one that actually handled it. She just crushed the damn thing like a soda can and just dropped it on the city. It's dead. And then, you know, she kind of chastises Flashy Flash, like, you're an S-rank hero. You know, you need to think better about this, or you need to deal with the situation more, you know, concisely than how you did it. You know, trying to be all cool all the time, it doesn't work. And so instead of just accepting it, because, you know, Tatsumaki is incredibly strong and everything like that, he begins to chastise her. You think you're hot shit, chimp? What are you doing? You know, that was my prey. What are you doing? All the other A-class heroes are like, he doesn't mean anything. He's not actually saying anything over here. Just forget about us, Tatsumaki. You know, so that was pretty funny. He just goes on and on and on. He just finally gets pissy, and he's just like, you know what? I'm leaving. Screw this. And he just walks away. So, I mean, he's strong. He's fast. It's just... He has the personality of, like, a 16-year-old emo teenager. You know, it's like, what did you say about me? You know? Yeah, so about his rank, though, I kind of got off on a tangent there, but about his rank, and I think that's the reason why he ranks so low, because he's obviously the fastest beyond Saitama, you know, before Saitama, and the fact that he's ranked 13 is rather low, and I think it's because of his personality, because that's how rankings go. They just don't go by how efficiently you can take out monsters. They go by how the public perceives you, and he has the really cool persona on the outside, but I can imagine, like, his attitude in public. He's probably not the kind of hero that gives out autographs. He's probably not the kind of hero that is very humble. You know, he's kind of the hero that shows up, cuts them down, and tries to, like, you know, is like, yeah, I know what I just did was pretty cool. If you want to praise me, that'd be sweet. You know, he's probably kind of aloof to the public, and that's kind of a turnoff, and that's probably why he ranks so low. And the fact that he doesn't really think all the time. He's not an idiot, but he prioritizes coolness over really efficiency, and that could also lead to a lot more collateral damage, which racks up more money for the Hero Association to pay off, and that's just like, okay, your bill is pretty big there, so we're gonna have to, you know, cut your ranking a little bit, so yeah. And then we talk about Atomic Samurai a little bit. There was a guy once, and I'll always remember this. This was like a year ago, but this is an example of one of those YouTube comments that I got a long time ago that I just never forget. And somebody asked me, hey, Tekking, out of all of the S-Class heroes that are humans, and also excluding Blast and Tatsumaki, because those two are like, Blast is such an unknown and Tatsumaki is so strong. Excluding those two, as well as all the machine or the organic life forms in the S-Class hero, which one is the strongest? That was the question. And that was something I actually had to think about. I'm like, okay, well, we have to exclude Genos and Drive Knight and Metal Knight, and I also excluded Zombie Man, because Zombie Man he might not be technically alive in the traditional sense, because he was a creation by the House of Evolution, so, he's not a cyborg, but he's not necessarily alive in the traditional sense, so I excluded him as well. And I was going through all the different heroes, and eventually I settled on Atomic Samurai as being the strongest. And my reasoning for that was, obviously Tank Top Master and Metal Bat, they're just straight up physical brawlers. So, that's all they are. Atomic Samurai is much more skilled in combat. He's got the sword and everything. You have Super Alloy, Darkshine, who's really like the physically strongest, but I think it would be a difficult fight there, but I still think he would come out on top as Atomic Samurai. Bang is getting on in years, and he doesn't have a sword. That was my logic there. And then Child Emperor and King, obviously. Well, we should probably exclude King, too, because King would automatically win as well. Knowing King, if King faced off against Atomic Samurai in a serious fight, his sword would just shatter, and he would trip and fall and, like, chip a tooth and be like, all right, I gotta leave. that would, like, be how it goes, and King would win. But yeah, obviously we have to exclude him and Child Emperor. Who else? Pig God. I don't think Pig God would, Atomic Samurai would, like, gut him open. It would be fine. But then I started thinking about, like, Flashy Flash and Atomic Samurai and Flashy Flash going up against each other, and I guess the reason I disregarded him was because his rank was so low as opposed to Atomic Samurai. But if you actually think about it, and just the sheer godly amount of speed, like, Atomic Samurai is a fast dude. He was able to do that, like all these cuts in an instant. But I'm pretty sure Flashy Flash is even stronger, plus he's got the movement speed. Maybe, like, in terms of, like, a singular attack, Atomic Samurai has this incredible speed, but he can't move that fast. Flashy Flash can, and he can attack that fast as well. So it's like the best of the both worlds with actual speed, movement speed, and reaction speed. He is, like, the highest of those in the S-Class echelons. So I think I'm going to say Flashy Flash would be the strongest non-cyborg or non-machine S-Class hero, excluding King and Tatsumaki and Blast. But anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to say about him. I thought he was a pretty cool guy. I hope we could see more of him in the manga. We haven't really seen much of him, really, even after the webcomic. He took on Garo. And there was that really cool moment where he came out and all the other S-Class heroes were gone, and people, I think, even admitted that he was in the higher class in terms of battle strength. He was one of the higher ones up there, and that's when he does, like, that, 0.000001 second punch into Garo's face, and Garo, though, was monsterfied to the point where he just took him out. But it was hey, at least he tried, right? We got to see how fast he could really go, and I guess that also showed how fast Garo was in that moment. At least Garo's reaction speed, anyway. But anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about him. The next one, who am I talking about next? Who's left? Oh, man, we're starting to get down into the barrel. Not uninteresting characters, but just characters like a video about Tank Top Master. Like, okay, that wouldn't be a very long video. I mean, I guess a little bit. I think I'm going to hold off on Puri Puri Prisoner for a while. You know what? We just had that awesome metal 137 chapter of One Punch Man featuring Genos. Next S-Class episode, we're talking about the Demon Cyborg, so we're going with Genos next time. He deserves a damn discussion video, alright? Okay, I'm off to go spend thousands of dollars now on a Genos cosplay. I gotta get the mechanized arms and all the lights and everything ready to go, and it's gonna be work, but I'll get it done. I'm just kidding. Although I have seen some... I mean, look at this. Look at this. That's pretty cool. I don't have that kind of dedication or the money, but that's pretty cool. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking101 signing out.